Microsoft recently experimented with the 4-day work week in Japan, and productivity jumped 40%. Do you think this would work for everyone and every kind of work culture, or is it specific to region and industry?
Yeah, if you run a storefront, um, it's pretty relentless. Yeah, there's 7 days a week, and there's lots of other business activities like that. Now, there's something known as the Hawthorne Effect, that anytime you make a change, there'll be a bump in productivity. Now, is that what caused this 40% increase? It's hard to say. Um, having 3 days off appeals to a lot of people. We have one of the cities that our office is in, has a 4-day work week, and so the city employees are gone Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Um, we keep running into this being a major barrier because invariably we want to get things done. If
Right.
we need an inspector to come out or something, and they happen to be off half the time,
Mm,
uh, essentially that just doesn't work very well. So
mm,
there's pros and cons of doing that.
mm.
Um, I think there's some industries that would work very well.
Any in particular that come to mind, or?
Um, well, um, there's a lot of tech world um, things that if um, see we run our own co-working facility, and so I um, frame a lot of thinking around that, and that has to be open literally 24 hours a day.
Right, 24/7.
Yeah, so our staff that is there, we've given them the flexibility to come in and leave, and they work it out among themselves as to when they're going to be there or not,
Hmm.
and that I think could work quite well with a 4-day work week if some of them are 4 days and another one the other 4 days.
Sure.
Uh, so things like that would work pretty well. Uh, I guess I would have to frame my thinking around lots of other things to
Right.
know exactly what industries would work the best. Um, yeah, Microsoft, uh, I'm guessing, runs into lots of projects where they just throw that out the window,
Yeah.
and they're going to have people there 72 hours a week anyway, so it doesn't
Right. Right.
matter. Yeah, and so it all depends on the urgency of the situation.
That is true. Right. None of these things are set in stone. Just because they have a 4-day work week doesn't mean, sometimes it's 3 and sometimes they need you there every day. Things can change on a dime.
Right, right,
Big project comes in, takes.
right.
So on the topic of sort of four, the number four, how do you feel about Tim Ferriss and the 4-hour work week? Of course, that was a big book a little while ago, but I think it made an impact on me. I didn't read the whole thing, but
Yeah, I think if somebody tries to go with a 4-hour work week, they're going to get themselves in trouble. So there's very few industries that are profitable enough and kind of self-guided enough to enable that to happen.
mm,
Uh, our world is shifting way too fast, and your 4-hour work week is going to leave you in the dust of somebody who's working 10 times as much. So
so how do you feel about that? The impact of that book? Do you think it was just people yearning to work less? Do you think maybe it was something that worked for him and he wanted to share? Do you think it was a specific moment in time?
um, I think it's a great title to sell books. I think he had a lot of good content in the book.
Yeah.
The overall concept of a 4-hour work week, I just don't see as being a workable concept, though.
Right. Yeah. It's certainly, it doesn't seem like quite enough hours. Gotta be putting in a little more than that.
Yeah, I've not found a job yet that I could even get close to that. If I get down to 70 hours a week, I think I'm doing good. So,
Yeah. How many hours a week do you work right now? You work over 70?
um, well, I'm basically working all the time. So whether you're promoting yourself, you're writing things, you're making notes, you're just, I mean, each time you're on a drive across town, you're listening to podcasts, you're watching TED Talk videos, just there's any number of things you're doing all the time. I have to do at least a couple hours research every day, otherwise I'm falling way behind.
Mm,
So yeah, you have to like what you're doing though.
certainly.